America is trying to broker between Russia and Ukraine. And in fact, we got nothing on that. Volodymyr Zelensky met with the vice president and the secretary of state. And when it was all over, we still don't know how big a role Ukraine is going to be offered in negotiating its own peace.
Elizabeth in Munich, thank you very much. And we'll pick up on the Ukraine part of that conversation in a minute. But Mehreen, just that quite extraordinary speech by J.D. Vance. We heard about the reaction it got in the room, the sub-zero temperatures that it prompted. What do you think lay behind it? What was he actually trying to achieve here?
Well, we had an early taste of it with Elon Musk, who has been a clear supporter of a certain political party in Germany on the far right, the Alternative for Germany. We know that J.D. Vance also met Alice Weidel, who's the head of the AfD, and this is days before an election in Germany, Europe's biggest country, a federal election, which is already proving to be more contentious than perhaps any German election we've had in decades. So we know that the Trumpians, this part of the Republican Party, likes to show that it has allies on the right and far right of the political spectrum in Europe. And I think the fact that J.D. Vance, the vice president of this administration, has vocalized that in such a clear way, days before, as I said, a German election, at a stage like the Munich Security Conference. I imagine there are people in Brussels and European capitals. This is, a nightmare scenario for them, that their domestic politics, that their democracies are being politically interfered with by the US president and his closest official.
But is Vance doing that interfering, as you put it, because he likes the idea of having like-minded people in power in Europe, because he just likes it? Or is there some kind of deeper kind of strategy here? There's a reason to foment this sort of stuff?
I think he'd say I think you have to think about Trump's strategy as a way to preserve American unipolarity in the world, economic, military, and political. And as you said, having allies in European capitals, there are a few already, Viktor Orban being the most prominent. And if you can get similar types of allies on the same types of political spectrums in Germany, in France, in Italy, you could argue that's already the case, in the UK with reform, that is a way to preserve American unipolarity in whatever way that Trump seems to perceive.
Divide and rule.
Exactly, and it's something that I think the Europeans are uniquely vulnerable to at this particular time, and I think that is a vulnerability that this administration is definitely going to be poking at for many, many years to come.
Jonathan, your new book came out just yesterday. It's called The Challenges of Democracy. Do you think you and J.D. Vance have got some of the same challenges in mind, actually?
I doubt it. I mean, the speech was silly and immature. Democracy and free speech are certainly under challenge in many European countries, but if you leave Viktor Orban's Hungary out of it for a moment, the challenge is not coming from governments, and these criticisms are pretty rich, coming from a president who is quite uniquely authoritarian. Although I've accepted that democracy and free speech are under challenge in our countries, they are under challenge in a much bigger way in the United States, and his boss is the man mainly responsible for that.
Where are our challenges coming from?
I think that there is a large minority of people, particularly among the young, who don't accept the basic premises of democracy and who don't accept free speech. The challenge to free speech is not actually coming from governments. It's actually coming from the pressure of opinion from our fellow citizens. And that's a much more difficult thing to deal with than the pressure coming from governments.
Basically what we call cancel culture.